Regret. Regret. The things I could have done differently or learned sooner. There's so much knowledge out there, so much information, so many ways to get better. And we make so many mistakes. We are the product of our mistakes. And oftentimes the lesson is sitting in front of our face, there to be learned. But we miss it, or we don't pay attention to it, or we think we know better until it punches us in the face.
Life, I've discovered, always sends you scenarios perfectly designed to teach you the lessons you most need to learn to get to your next grade of growth. Things never unfold for your failure. Everything always happens in your favor. And we are most alive when we are closest to our fears.
Between the acting of a dreadful thing and the first motion, all the interim is like a phantasma or a hideous dream. Between the acting of a dreadful thing, between the moment when you are waiting to do something that you don't want to do, and the first motion, and the moment when you initiate the action, all the interim, the whole time you are waiting to take that action, is like a phantasma or a hideous dream, is like an evil specter, an apparition, a nightmare. So the battle, the struggle, the hesitation takes place in that moment.
And I want to tell you right now, you can't allow nothing to kill that hunger. You got to be like a lion for your goals. You got to be like a lion for your dreams. You got to be like a lion for your vision. You got to be like a lion for the best you. You got to be like a lion for your greatness.
Think of every hard thing you've ever been through. When enough time passes, it gets easier to deal with. It may not permanently go away, but it gets small. It gets real small in the rear view. And occasionally you'll be upset about it, but most of the time you kind of don't even think about it. The point is this: when that time comes, when the time comes where this huge event to you right now is very small in the rearview mirror, do you want to be in a better place than you are right now, or do you want to be in a worse place than you are right now? Because here's the thing: time is going to pass, and time will help heal the wound.
I don't like procrastination, but if you feel like you need a break, that is the one thing you should procrastinate. Taking a break is the one thing I put off until tomorrow. You won't need that rest. Chances are you will realize that the desire to rest was just weakness. It was the desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the downward path.
This delusion we've sold people on that getting what you want is going to make you happy. You know, you could call success getting what you want. I don't define it that way, but that's how most people do. But then there's fulfillment. And fulfillment is living what you're made for. It's like, I think the biggest challenge people have, and the reason they're not able to respond to challenges, they're just thinking about themselves, and it's not that hard to meet your own needs.
I am born with a purpose. I am born to do something significant. I am born to do anything but fail. I have been born for such a time as this because there was a leader needed, and I'm willing to lead. I am here so that I can leave a legacy. I am here because I want to be here. I am here because I made a choice not to stay where I was, and I'm telling you, there is a reason why you are here. You just have to discover it.
But God gave you the light, and you just shining. Even when they try to stop you, you still shining. Even when they try to slow you down, you still shining. Even when they try to come against you, you still shining. Even when they use their tactics to try to hurt you and kill your vision, you bring more light to it and you keep shining. Everybody ain't meant to handle the light. When somebody has darkness in their soul, when somebody has darkness in their spirit, when somebody is bitter and you becoming better, everybody can't handle the light of greatness. Everybody can't handle the light of calling. Everybody can't handle the light of you being who you are. You've been ordained to be able to do what you've been called to do.
Move. Take the action. Get out of bed, get your feet on the ground, step forward. Do not hesitate, do not wait. Go forward and win.
As I see so many people give away their vision. I see so many people stop going hard for their dreams. I see so many people not unwrapping their gifts.
The major key to your taking charge of your destiny is you. It's you. And even though you might not have all the things going for you that you would like, you have the power within you as you begin to develop your consciousness, as you hold the vision of what it is that you want to do, as you decide to answer this small voice within you. Because as you respond to this voice that's telling you you ought to do this, the way will come, ideas will come to you. You will begin to attract things you need and things that you don't even know that you need right now.
Inside of every man and woman is a fire, and this fire burns very bright. And if you look at it this way, that your fire might burn just as bright as mine, but it burns at a different color, then you have to do what's right for you. You have to follow your own radiance in life. And when people tend to start living other people's dreams out, why is that? Because you are not living your radiance. You are not listening to your radiance. You are living someone else's dreams that they have for you. What you might be doing is running someone else's playbook for your life. And if you're running someone else's playbook for your life, then you are going to feel incongruent with your radiance. If your fire is burning orange, but someone says, go do this blue thing, while you are doing something, it is not the thing that's going to give you a sense of fulfillment and passion. And therefore, you are dying a slow death. You are committing suicide at the slowest rate possible.
If each day you do difficult things and make these daily optimizations, each day through the doing of micro difficulties, you build greater self-respect. And as you build greater self-respect, you fall in love with yourself. It's a great way to build self-love. I mean, one of the tactics to remember is how do you grow self-love? You consistently make and then keep self-promises.
And so I think the problem is that people don't have something that they're wanting to serve more than themselves.
I didn't put myself out here. See, the reason that most of us go through life never discovering our true greatness, literally walking, breathing corpses, the uncommitted life isn't worth living.
Too many of us, we think what's right for us based upon how man treats us, based upon how woman treats us, based upon how our boss treats us, based upon how our spouse believes in us, based upon how our friends support us. We base our gifts and our talents, if this is right for us, based on that. And I'm going to tell you something. When you know that it's right for you based upon what God has given you, it don't matter about man's applause. You got to stop doing it for them.
See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no. See, 87% of our self-talk is negative. So you've got to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to say yes to your dreams. Why not? Why not me? Don't spend time like most people going through life complaining.
But the fact is, you don't get that chance. You get one shot. We get one shot at this gig right here. Life. One life, that's all we've got. And the most important thing to understand about regret is that in and of itself, regret is worthless. It does nothing for you. In fact, the only valuable thing in regret is the lesson you learned.
One of the biggest things that you will ever face in life is the challenge of living out your dream. You see, when you finally sit down and you write it down, there's really no consequence to it until you put a date to it. Put a date to it and then make a date with it. The date to it is your day that you will make sure Come hell or high water, I will do everything that I said I would do, and this is exactly when it will be done.
I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living."
You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. How far could you take that if you stopped wasting time, and if you stopped lying, and if you oriented yourself to the highest possible good that you could conceive of, and you committed to that? How much good could you do? Well, I would say, why don't you find out?
It's not to quit on your dream. It's to quit living other people's purpose for your life. They don't know what's inside of you, but you do. Open it up. Open yourself up to grow. Challenge yourself to be more, so you can serve more, so you can do more.
Everyone already has the answer inside of them. You're not really learning anything new. You're just trying to get rid of all the bad lessons you learned. And for me, one of the ways I've always thought about is you can't take the world further than where you visited internally. Sun's always out, but often it's covered with the clouds. The sun is always out. It's just get covered by the clouds, and that's us. We've just been covered. And we get covered by those clouds, and they cloud our identity, they cloud our perception. So all we're doing for ourselves and others is clearing out the clouds. And the more we do that for ourselves, the more we can do it for others, and the more we do it for others, the more we do it for ourselves.
Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
And you have to be willing to put yourself in very difficult situations at all times to be able to do that. So my big takeaway of life is, if you're constantly taking the easy way out, you're never gonna callous your mind. And when you're in those points where you wanna quit and not quitting and seeing how the mind starts to operate in those moments of fear, anxiety, self-doubt, insecurities, and that's where you learn to fix it. You don't fix it in 72-degree weather. Fix it by going into the environment.
You have the power to do that. On this day, you can declare that I'm going to change. As you look back on your life, you can decide that I don't like what I produced here, and I want higher ground. I want to begin to experience more love. I want to have more adventure in my life. I want something that gives my life a sense of meaning.
Now, I can appreciate that life is hard. I can appreciate that it's a struggle. I can appreciate that there's all kinds of things not going your way. But guess what? They're never gonna, unless you make it.